Here we go. All right. 3, 2, 1. Choy, how you doing, man? Thank you so much for being on the podcast. Really appreciate it. How's your weekend going?
Doing well, and how are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I've been excited to have you on. I've wanted to have you on for quite some time. Been a big fan of the videos. I think the first one I ever watched was, I think we just mentioned this before, but the True Talent video. But
Yeah,
the compilations, especially you seem so sort of connected with how the fans feel. Like the 13 minutes of pain of skill-based matchmaking. Like everyone felt that video. Everyone was just like, "Oh God, I'm not alone. This is awesome."
yeah,
But yeah, we love your videos, man. We'll get into more into that very soon.
much appreciated.
Just to plug Choy first, guys. He does have a Twitter account. He's on YouTube, if you're not aware, and he also has a Twitch channel as well. All the links, all the cards are going to pop up periodically in the video, so make sure you check him out. Show him some love. He's a great guy, and he does some great content. All right, so the first thing moving forward, and I think this is probably more on topic for today, is the anniversary was just leaked, probably about 3 hours ago. Choy, how are you feeling about it, man?
Well, I mean, I would have liked to see like something kind of maybe a bit more special for the anniversary because they've kind of like built themselves up over the past 2 years with like these huge chapters. But I mean, it's only one thing. There could still be more secrets.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about that just briefly, but I think the horror aspect is certainly with that sort of night shade, I think, or whatever it's called, nightfall.
Yeah.
That's looking pretty cool. I love the sound of that.
Definitely, and I that's what I liked about Sadako as well. You know, the horror aspect. So I'm glad they're pushing that.
Yeah, and Hattie Core, I think is how you're supposed to say her, or I have been corrected, or Hattie Care. Everyone's wanted her for quite some time, so you know some people are pretty excited about that. I hope that's like a first mock-up image of her. To me, it just looks a bit.
It looks a bit janky for sure.
Yeah, but overall, where's your? Are you disappointed that it's original? Because a lot of this chat's going on right now.
I would have been fine with the original aspect, but I just feel like the teleporting like original killer, it's maybe just like a bit too soon because we just like kind of got that. So I think a lot of people are going to be a bit disappointed, unfortunately.
Yeah,
if it turns out to be true, which I think it probably will. But
yeah, got a few teleporters as well already. I mean, not including obviously Sadako, which is the last DLC, but we do have this power prevalent in the game. But yeah, man, I don't know. Just a lot of people. I mean, I think this is definitely a shoe-in for Funkos now, right? Like they're gonna have to release more info with this. Like I just don't know.
Yeah.
They must be very confident if they're just releasing this and this is it. They must be really confident in it. So I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe possible a new game mode. They've seemed to kind of not want to do that every time they've been asked about it, but
yeah,
new game mode or like maybe something crazy like they're gonna move it from Unreal Engine 4 to 5, and that would be a huge announcement.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I feel you. Just off topic from DVD for the meantime. You told me a story about how you met your wife earlier, and the reason why I wanted to share this on here is because we do both love some similar games. So can you please tell us about that story?
Yeah, so I play on Xbox, and I think Ark Survival Evolved was like the first survival game we ever got.
Yeah.
And we go into it like day one. I didn't even really want to get the game. My friend like forced me. So we start playing the game. Like it's just absolute insanity for like a straight month. And then things start to like calm down on our server.
Yeah.
And then people start telling me there's this crazy pair of women in the woods. They're just coming out at night and like blowing people's faces up and stuff. Yeah, I was like, okay, like we'll look around and see what we can find. So we went looking through the woods and we found these little shanty houses everywhere, painted green, hidden in the like you could barely notice them. And we were going like from base to base, and we finally found that there was a person in one of them. So, you know, this little window opens up on the side, And we try to convince her to come out. We just want to talk. Why is she blowing up people's bases and stuff at night? So she comes outside, and as soon as she comes outside, I didn't know my friend was going to do it. He whacks her in the back of the head with a club and puts her in a cage.
Of course, we've all been there.
Yeah. And then, we're talking, and, my friend, of course, he's dumb. So he somehow manages to get himself into the cage with her. And, she's still like a primitive type player. So she's got like 500 melee. She knocks him out, takes all of his gear, breaks the cage, runs off into the woods with like 1,000 movement speed. And then we ended up like meeting again, and kind of just like I convinced her to try to build a base and kind of play it that way. And then we just kept playing for like months, and then we switched to Overwatch, and then back to Ark, and then other games, and eventually ended up leaving America and coming to Germany.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah, from my Ark prisoner to my wife.
Yeah. And you still live in Germany as well?
I do, yeah.
Do you ever get homesick, man?
Not really. I never got too homesick wherever I went, but
that just seems like such a big step, really. I mean, I can't really talk. I live in England, and I'm from Australia, so yeah. No, but that's really cool. I mean, video games turning into actual wives eventually. That's a big relationship. That's awesome.
Yeah, and then my best friends that I've had for 15, 16 years now, I all met on video games as well. So
yeah, I
have how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Well, first of all, love the content, as I've said, and I've watched a lot of your videos, especially the sort of montages, compilation videos. I think that's the ones that really you can tell us are doing well on your channel, and people are really relating to them. But explain to us what you do in the DVD space. Like, what do you consider your work being?
I try to make content that like encapsulates the entirety of the DVD experience. So whether it's good or bad or just dumb or whatever it is, I try to just do that.
You definitely knuckle on that, because so many times before I started watching your content that in my Discord there'd be somebody going, "Oh, check out Choy's latest video. Look at him. Look at this situation." And like, it's always the perfect thing about it is it's what everyone's thinking, and then we see a video on it, and then we go, it's like sort of like, I don't know, it's satisfying, I guess, is the word I'm looking for.
And I think it's healthy too, right? Because people might think they're alone or whatever, and then they see that now even the biggest streamers are thinking the same thing sometimes. So
yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's relatable. And exactly. You're not doing it for sort of negative or positive reasons. You are literally just going where the tide's taking you. And I think they're really, I think they're really great. But I must say I've enjoyed your more serious videos as well. Things where you're covering, talking to a hacker and things like that. Like, I will get to that, but yeah, those videos are awesome as well. But what made you, Choy, get into content creation? Because virtually 8 months is the YouTube channel. I can tell. What made you get into it, man?
I would say mostly just like freedom. Like I don't like to be like tied to one place, and like the 9 to 5. We have it. It is what it is. But and my wife and I, we both love to travel, so I would love to just be able to, kind of start building something that makes it to where we can go where we want, and it's focused on video games, which is obviously like my passion. So, that's kind of just building for that future.
That's brilliant. And you've had no prior practice or anything like that. You just jumped in.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty cool. How long have you been playing DBD for?
Well, I actually originally didn't like DVD when I first saw it. There was this game I followed for years called Summer Camp, and I was their first follower on Twitter. I was obsessed with it, and then it turned into Friday the 13th, the game, because the people reached out to them because they saw it, and I was obsessed with it. And then my wife kept trying to get me to play DVD. She's like, you'll love it. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is all this competitive weirdness going on here with hooking people? And I just want a horror experience. And then I remember Friday the 13th kind of went to, not
Yeah.
such a good place. And
Yeah.
Leatherface came out for DVD, so I was like, finally, like, okay, I'm gonna try it. I started playing when Leatherface came out. I realized that you could like mix perks from different like killers and
Mm.
make all these awesome builds, and I started to get obsessed with the game. And then I had watched True Talent from Mortal Kombat X,
Oh,
so
yep.
I was following him, and he was playing DBD like every day. So yeah, I just kind of got massively addicted to it. It was not very healthy.
Yeah, that's definitely for me as well. Came across my it just came across my Steam one day. I was
Yeah.
about 2-3 months after release, and it was like DVD, and I'm like, oh, this looks awesome, cool, give it a go, and then the rest is history, I guess.
Yep.
So you started off watching True yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say he was pretty much the only guy I was watching before I actually seriously played it and had a go of it, because I had no idea what he was doing when he started playing that, because I followed him
Yeah.
for his fighting games. Probably you did
Right.
too.
Yeah. I followed True Talent for Mortal Kombat X, and I followed Darva for his PUBG videos, and they both
Yeah.
ended up playing DVD, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, that's interesting. Um, yeah. Have you? Okay. Yeah. So we've had some. I've watched some of your videos on skill-based matchmaking and that sort of
Mhm.
thing. Can you share sort of a more broader spectrum of how you feel about skill-based matchmaking? I know you've shared opinions in your videos, but can you just tell us, what do you think about it in
Yeah.
general, where it is currently in DBD?
Well, the thing with like skill-based matchmaking is that I've pretty much hated it for about as long as it's existed in games that I've played, and even before DVD. And there's this guy, his name's like Bangareshi, I think. He made a video
Yeah.
all about it on YouTube that's really good. And yeah, anytime I bring up the reason I don't like SBMM, a lot of people, like, because I make the videos, they'll say things like, well, sweaty players like you don't like SBMM because you just can't go on your 50 win streaks anymore, and you can't bully players
Oh, God.
anymore.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I try to reply to him like, no, like the reason I don't like it is because the psychological effect it has. I think it's massive, like a massive problem. And I give him the example a lot that, like, I feel like I'm playing against the same people that I was before. It's just that we're all
Yep.
playing different now because we're all so conditioned that we're going to be going into this sweat fest that, they all want to play with Survive with Friends. I only want to use like the better killers with good perks. And it just basically makes this, mess of a game. And then like 90% of the match takes place, or it feels like it takes place before you even load in, like who brought what and what map offering, and you kind of know what you're gonna get. It gets like robotic in a way. And yeah, I mean, I've definitely made multiple videos about it, and I
Yeah.
think I still have more that I want to make.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, I would suggest you do. I've enjoyed those videos personally. It's good to hear other content creators and other people as well. Like, I always insist that people in the comment section share their opinions, because I want to hear what everyone feels as a whole.
yeah.
But I've got to say, out of every comment, every content creator I've ever seen, I'd say it's a 5 to 10% of people have said, "Oh, I love skill-based matchmaking."
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely not very much liked by anyone, right?
You touched on just there as well. You said something very interesting. You said the psychological aspect.
Mhm.
You do feel like you're stuck in limbo, man. You really
Yeah.
do. The same thing. I mean, everyone tells me, even on my streams and stuff, when I'm banging out killer, they'll say, "Oh, do this build, do that build," and nine
Mhm.
times out of 10, I lose those matches, because
Yeah.
they're fun meme builds where people want to see them, have a bit of fun with it. I can't do
Mhm.
meme perks anymore. I just can't. Like,
Yeah.
it's just an insta loss.
Yeah, it's like, because they all kind of have a setup usually too. You gotta like do this and that to make the perk work, and then by the
Yep.
time you even open the door, the game's over and you're getting teabagged. So it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, and that's the thing as well. I think it's mostly built around for those really strong teams, because they seem to be
Hmm.
having the most fun, if I'm not mistaken. Like,
Yeah,
I just don't see many killers closing the match after it's done really with a smile. Like, it's just
right. And that's regardless if they won or lost usually too.
yeah,
Like,
yep, yeah,
so,
100%.
and that's important.
So why do you think behavior brought it in then? What are your thoughts and opinions on that?
Well, I have maybe a little bit of a conspiracy theory about the
Please share,
escape based
please
matchmaking
do
part of
it.
it. because the fact that a survivor only gains MMR when they escape basically insinuates like one of two things, which is either that like behavior is really out of touch with the game, or that they were trying to kind of indirectly nerf survive with friends because they wanted to push all of the swifts to the sweatiest furthest part of the game, and get them to always be playing against the sweatiest killers. And I think that it kind of maybe just didn't work out because it incentivized too many other people to play sweaty. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've heard a theory going. That's interesting, but I've heard a theory that it's for skill-based matchmaking in general is developed for sort of a quick lifespan of players. It gets them in. They buy a shit ton of cosmetics, have a great time, and then it toughens up, and then they leave. But it's just like I think about that, and I don't whether it's true or not is whatever out for debate. But what about all your long-standing veterans that are still playing this game, still promoting it in a lot of ways, and what do? They just take a back seat to it. Like I'm not really sure. But even on just as a solo survivor, I'm not enjoying my matches with skill-based matchmaking either. It's I know they're bringing in things soon, like special HUDs and stuff where I can see what other players are doing, which I think is brilliant. But at the same time, it's just like the killer has no incentive but just to tunnel and camp you every single game.
Yeah.
Like what? And I'm not even angry at the killer at this point. I'm just like, well, yep, I looped you for a while, and now you're just going to capitalize on this. That makes sense. So it's not good for everyone on the table. It's really not.
Definitely not. And I think that another side effect of SBMM is, from what I've noticed, and even in my own playing, is that as killer, you start to not want to chase certain survivors anymore for like a number
100%.
of reasons, which it's a massive problem that I think that maybe survivors don't really think about too much. Like they think, oh, he's not chasing me because he knows I'm too good at looping. But it's like, there can be 1,000 reasons. You could be running to a part of the map I don't want to go. And it incentivized this gameplay of like, I'm only going to take a chase I can win really fast. So you have to be out of position or something like that, or hit and run type of thing when it used to work. And it's like, it takes away the best part of the game, which is the chase, in my opinion.
Oh no, 100%. I've only started playing out of my nearly 4,500 hours. I've only just played probably a bit under 500 hours in Survivor. So I like to tell people who watch me that I'm not super good, but in the last couple of months, I've really been doing all right most of the time. And yeah, as a survivor, I don't want to press M1 and sit there. Although it does allow me to read my chat, at the same time, the chase is where it's all at. So killer, you play the role because you enjoy chasing, and then survivor, you play it because you enjoy, just keeping away from the killer and keeping it engaging. But there's not a lot right there to keep anyone stimulated, especially solo survivor. I find it very, you're just on your own again, another alone role. And in this world of skill-based matchmaking, it just makes it worse, in my opinion.
Yeah, and then there's even a little bit of an element of like, you're kind of incentivized to not escape, which is weird. Like, so there's just the problems really stack up. Yeah,
you are in a constant perpetual state of creating your own rules, I find. And when I'm playing Survivor, my new rule is, and this isn't the rule, this is just my rule, like if I pip and I die, I think that's like, I think I did pretty good that game. That's how I see it, but I'm dead. According to behavior, that doesn't matter.
That's why I like the pip system so much more, or the emblem system, because it really encouraged that healthy gameplay that MMR does the opposite of, which
100%. Do you think, because like I don't want to say too much, but I have a strong suspicion that the grind's going to be addressed in the anniversary. Do you think skill-based matchmaking might be something that they might address as well? Maybe go back to the pip system, as you're saying.
I think that just judging by how like behavior talks about things, and then this matchmaking test they did, I think they're pretty set on their statistics with SBMM one, but I don't know how that'll work out with all their competition coming out really soon.
Oh mate, and isn't it piling up, dude? Isn't it piling up? Let me ask,
every day.
Are you interested in getting Evil Dead, or have you gotten Evil Dead?
I'm definitely going to be getting Evil Dead. I
Cool.
was considering maybe starting my Twitch channel out playing it, but I'm
Playing
not
Evil
sure
Dead,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pre-ordered it 2 nights ago, so I'm definitely keen to give it a go.
Yeah.
But there's
It's
that.
looking cool.
Yeah, there's that. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre on the way.
Hmm.
There's VHS, which is in a bit of limbo at the moment. I really do hope they make a comeback, because the chase in that
Hmm.
is something else entirely. And then a bunch of other sort of smaller indie titles are coming as well, man. It's never been a more busier bracket, than it
Hmm.
has before. It was just DVD with the monopoly, but
Yeah.
I think this anniversary they really it needs to be knuckled down with info.
Yeah. The Especially with like the killer announcement, I think they really have to have some really big announcements
Yeah.
in there, or at least some kind of vision into the future.
Yeah, 100%. Like an actual roadmap this time would be good,
Yeah,
not
an
just a
actual romance.
not just a like a piece of paper with stuff that we're going to talk about then we don't talk about. But anyway, what in your opinion should DBD do to bring in balance and control the matchmaking problem? So what would you do to improve skill-based matchmaking if you had a choice?
Well, the big thing is that, nobody wants to just go in and crush the opponent. It's not,
No.
fun to do that, and that goes both ways. So it's definitely a difficult thing to do. I don't think there's any like super easy answer, and behavior has been using band-aid fixes for so long to fix problems that they've like dug this massive hole for themselves now. And
Yeah.
I kind of was trying to wrap my head like what could they do here, and I made this video recently called like DBD should become like a heist game, which was
Yeah.
basically just like
Yeah.
an idea I kind of threw out there of like a way to encourage healthy gameplay and get creative, and even if it's not that exact idea, something like that, something that just encourages people to play the game in a way that's more fun.
Yeah, more engaging.
Hmm.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's not bad. Now, I want to talk about something a little bit spicy. Behavior giving out Stranger Things DLC for the tourney. So, for those of you who don't know, Choy did cover it. Again, check out the cards in the video and the link in the descriptions. He did a video called DVD's 350k tournament. It was a hilarious disaster, and I've watched that 3 times. It really is funny to watch. Please give it a go. Yeah, but basically, as people did see, and I saw it in the video without talking to Choy yet, and I was like, oh wow, he can pick Demogorgon. What the hell? So I just want to talk more in detail with Choy. What do you think about this Demogorgon just being available for these guys, even though it has been, it's not in the game anymore? I think everyone's pretty much aware of that. Fill us in on some of that.
So yeah, I first noticed it while I was editing the video myself. I was like, wait a
Yeah.
second, like how does that work? And then I thought when I was putting the video together, the only thought I had in my head is, well, that can't be legal. I wonder what people think about this. So I just kind of like threw it in there, and then I actually had a developer message me since then, and he wanted to
Oh, okay.
clarify a little bit. He said that the code that they got, it wasn't like they gave them a Stranger Things DLC code specifically. They gave them the developer code, which is what Behavior gives to their employees, and it
Right.
unlocks all of their past DLCs and all of their future DLCs. So they just basically unlock everything. And this exact developer wasn't like responsible for this, but he said they assumed that they did it out of convenience, which I think there were other ways they could have done it, maybe with like org cells or something. But
Yeah.
and that was kind of what I had in my head. And then I had people leaving comments on the video, and they were like, hey, I saw the tournament and I saw Stranger Things, and I was like, whoa, that's awesome. So I went out and I bought Dead by Daylight, and I went to play,
Oh.
Demogorgon or Steve or Nancy, and then I realized that I couldn't. And now they're like, we want like refunds and stuff. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even consider that like aspect of it for some reason. Cause you
Mm.
know, the amount of big streamers they had streaming this that
Oh,
are,
dude, yeah, Shroud, Tim the
millions.
Tatman, yeah, it
Yeah.
was big, dude.
It was arguably like their biggest advertisement they've actually ever
Yeah.
had for the game. And all these people they're telling them to play Demogorgon and stuff, and then it's not even there. It's of like, that's pretty messed up. I know Behavior has been sued before. I don't know if that'll happen again here, but
Mm.
yeah, it's
It,
definitely not a good look.
again, it was a situation where it was glided across in my Discord by someone or some people, and
Mhm.
people were like, "Choy's released a new video, but check it out, Demogorgon's alive and kicking." And I'm like, "What?" And I'm like, "Okay, I forgot about that. Watched the video and then saw it." Man, I just think people in general feel a little bit hard done by that.
Mhm.
Is that the sense that you're getting as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it definitely was a bit of a kick in the teeth.
Yeah, I don't know. I totally get that. Obviously, have everything available for your big names. That's totally
Mhm.
that's get the red carpet, glide it out for them. I totally get that. But I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just as you said, especially in your comment section. I can't believe people have actually said, "Oh my God, Stranger Things is right around the corner as well,"
Yeah.
and I'm gonna go grab this because it's in the game. Oh wait, no, it's not.
Yeah. As a massive blunder on their part.
Yeah, especially with no mention of it either beforehand. They just sort of like, yeah, underhandedly chucked it in. But oh well. I want to talk about another one of your videos now. You did an interview. You did a video interviewing a hacker, and this one was probably like the first serious video that I've watched of yours that I've really been
Yeah.
engaged with. I thought it was absolutely brilliant hearing sort of you felt like you were in a private conversation, and it was really cool.
Mhm.
Tell us a little bit more about that experience. Yeah, again, I thought it was a great video.
Thank you. It started out like really early on my channel that I was running into hackers a lot, like
Yeah.
every night, and
Wow.
I was like, this is so weird. Like I'm just a regular guy at this point. I'm not like streaming or anything.
Yeah.
So I went on YouTube and I looked it up, and I went on Reddit and the forums, and I couldn't like find anything. And the things I could find, it was like someone would be like, wow, I think this guy may have been like cheating, and then everyone would be like, no, you just suck, and there was kind of like this wall
Get good.
of, yeah, okay, good. There was just like a wall of denial about it. So I was like, okay, I did like my own little investigation, and I made
Yeah.
like a video about it that, went up and whatever. And then I said my piece, and I thought that was like the end of it. And then I had like hackers DMing me like a few weeks later saying they could give me more information. And then we had these like private talks that got like really in depth about how all the hacks work and everything, and I was like, I don't understand why they're telling me this. And I
Mm.
even asked them like multiple times, like, why are you telling me this? And they're just like, we just want people to know how it works. And I'm like, that's just, I don't know, I don't really get it, but okay. And then it was pretty awesome because like after the video came out, I felt like the way in which people talked about hacking and DVD just like changed all of a sudden. Like it was like okay to be like, hey, I think that guy might be using so and so
Subtle,
hack or
subtle
whatever.
hacks.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it just became like the common like knowledge. And then I think that made the game definitely a bit more healthy when it comes to people's perception of why they might be like winning and losing matches and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
I'm a little bit of a rare case in the fact that I've seen blatant hackers maybe like five or
Hmm.
six times ever. I've just, by the way, I've been purely lucky by this, but
Yeah.
the subtle hackers, yeah, I think that's happened way more than I'm even aware of. Like just little
Hmm.
things that I've noticed. Sometimes people getting extra distance for no reason around a corner,
Yeah.
just little things like that. And now with the AI bots and fully functioning systems available, originally built from behavior and
Hmm.
then from the ground up. And apparently they've pushed forward now, and they're even better than that. They've got their own designs. Because I watched your recent video a couple of days ago. Tell us about the Hackerbots, man. Can you give us any information on that? Because that was quite a pandemic for a bit, but now it seems it's just gotten worse.
Yeah, it's something that it seems like whoever is developing the software for the bots, they just are kind of like all in on this thing. And I'm not really 100% sure why they want to do it, because it seems like
Yeah.
it's kind of just a massive negative. Like it almost is like they want to hurt the
Yeah.
game, like uh
That's just it. The way you were going through it in your video, it seemed like it was sort of like an FU to behavior sort of thing.
yeah,
Oh, we're gonna, especially that last bit, man, where it was just like, oh yeah, we're gonna shit on them too about VHS, and I was just like,
right.
what? I was like, what is this?
Uh-huh. And then yeah, I don't know. They really are into it, and they the way they talk about the software, they almost talk about it like it's art. Like they really like have like
Yeah,
an appreciation for it. So Yeah, I don't know, but I'm sitting there considering like what happens. I watched this guy do this on Twitch
Yeah.
for way too long, and he was apparently sleeping while the stream was up, and he got the bot queues again for him, goes into a match, 2 minutes, everyone's dead, and then it queues again, and it's just like he had a kill counter there that was like 350 or something
Oh my
at
god,
the
yeah.
time. And I'm just like, okay, that's like one guy, but what happens when there's like 10 or 15 guys doing this? And then
Yeah.
like that becomes like a real scary issue, like real fast.
Can you, just a little bit of nitty gritty information, can you target any users within the game? Like, say I wanted to get this program right, which I'm totally
Mhm.
not, for everyone just freaking out. But if I got it, could I like target someone like Ots or True Talent, like their actual Steam ID and stuff like that? Is that something that you think the capabilities are there?
At this time, it's there if you do it manually. So you can't go to sleep and just set it on, destroy odds Darva mode and come back to like 2 months later. But
Yeah.
if you sit there in front of your computer and you just keep on targeting him,
Yeah.
yeah, then you could do it. And if they ever make
That's
it to where
wow.
you can also do hacker survivors as well, it'll be even easier because then they'll have, 4 survivors with the perfect matched MMR to go and do it to
Right.
somebody.
Yeah, that wasn't really fully fleshed out because I wasn't aware of that. So there is survivor bots already up and going.
No, just something that they are working on
Oh
potentially.
god. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was talking as well. I was playing some Blood Hunt about 2 nights ago, and your name came up in my trio conversation. I believe you mentioned that they obviously have or had possibly have plans for VHS. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yeah, so they have their blood hunt hacks are out already. They're not overly like complicated, it's like wall hacks and aimbot and things like that. And
Right.
then the the VHS thing, apparently they had it in the past. I missed it, but if they ever do bring it back and I can see what they want
Mm,
to do with the game, then I'll definitely be passing that along to anyone who is a VHS player and
yeah.
try to help them out.
Right. So it's just really interesting you say that. So the Blood Hunt, it's out. It's already there.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. There has been one time where I just got one headshot with a Magnum, and that has been the only time ever. And it's either he might be an absolute god, the guy who did it, but it was very sus because he did it to my team.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
I'm not sure
definitely
about that
sus.
one. Ah,
Especially it's free to play, correct? So,
yeah, yeah. Free to play
yeah.
games are going to cop it the worst.
Yep.
And
And then they had prop night on like day one as well. So
did
I know
they?
that yeah.
Wow.
So
Is this sort of like just one company? It's just
this is
one group of
one
people?
specific website, yeah, that I've been mostly communicating with.
Well, that's quite unfortunate. I really do hope you continue that series, though. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Right. Well, moving on. Jesus Christ, that's a lot of information there. Like, I can't believe there's a group out there going out. Just it. What it seems like is they just don't really give a shit, and they're ruining other people's experiences. That's the way I always see hacks.
Hmm.
Um.
And
Yeah. Go
it,
on.
it does maybe it seems to change a little bit from person to person. There has been the guy who's just like, I want to destroy behavior. I really don't like them for whatever reason,
Wow.
And then there's when you get into the people that actually make the software, like they seem to have a little bit of a different philosophy. Like I
Mm.
said kind of before, it's like to them it's almost like art. It's kind
Yeah.
of strange. So,
I studied game design in university myself, so I understand the work that actually goes into stuff like this, like
mhm,
to a layman's degree. So it's no doubt that there's talent there with these guys. They're
yeah.
coding, they're plugging away, they're at it. I get it. Especially the way they're doing it. They're targeting like Blood Hunt, which is quite a different game from the other games in that group.
Mhm.
I mean, you've said they've done Prop Night as well. Like there's a lot going on there, a lot of work, and I don't think they're really getting paid properly. If I'm honest, like they wouldn't have. Oh, I really hope they don't have thousands of customers. But
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure, but they definitely charge a lot of money for it from
true,
what I can see.
true. Okay. Well, moving on. Just want to talk about your streams for a little bit and your content overall. Are you a competitive DVD player or more chilled?
I'd say it really depends on like the moment, like some
Yep.
days I do want to go in and I'm just like feeling sweaty. I want to be competitive. And then there's just the days where I'm like, all right, meme build, no gen defense. Let's just screw around and see if they can finish the gens in like 2 minutes. And
Yeah.
I would say like maybe like one caveat to that is that there are killers that I really don't feel like I ever got a chance to learn too well.
Mm.
And I wish they would have kept it to where your killers had different MMR ratings because man, like just trying to like learn how a power works and getting like absolutely brutalized is definitely not a good feeling.
Yeah. Shout out to Illusion for this in my chat. But yeah, last night he said, "Oh, I've always wanted to learn Demogorgon, but I just get shat on every single time I play him."
Hmm.
But originally, the devs said that the MMR is going to be different to the killers that you're not playing. That they did
Nope.
say that, and as you know, we found out everything as it goes along is not really. It's pretty much an even
Yeah.
keel across the board.
I mean, they changed how killer matchmaking works entirely, like over it, because you used
Yeah.
to be able to switch out when you saw 4 med kits. You're like, I guess it's a play game, but
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
anymore.
Yeah, I hate that as well. That you feel so boxed in when you're playing killer
Mhm.
because you're locked in, you're good to go. You can't even change options. Like you can't even go down to your options and change volume or anything like that. You're just locked in until you get the match, and then you can do it.
Yeah,
It's very
that's
weird.
yeah. It seems like maybe a last second decision, and then it just kind of got left with what it was. Uh,
Yeah. Now you play Survivor and Killer, correct?
Mostly killer, but I do play Survivor some as well.
And I suppose that's because of your sanity, right? You like to mix it up because you can't just play Killer all night.
Yeah,
That's why we all played Survivor.
yeah.
What do you think behavior should focus on? A more competitive style within the game or a casual style or both?
Hmm. I I might like I don't know if this is a cop out answer, but like I think that you know they should really just look at it from like the perspective of like it's going to be competitive like no matter what they do, right? But like balance wise, I think every decision going forward needs to be like made more for fun and as opposed to trying to create like this equal chance of like
Yeah.
people escaping and people killing. And yeah, if everything they do just prioritize the chase, right? Because I would say that almost every DVD player would say that that's the key fun factor of the game.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I refer to like the current meta because I don't know if there's a name, but I like to call it like the domination meta when I'm like talking to my chat and stuff. And it's because like everything both sides do at high MMR is all based around like domination. So I call it,
Yeah.
yeah, the domination meta. And you have to take control of a match. So like
Yeah.
whatever you do, it's all about just locking it down and controlling it. And that's just really means unfun things. That means splitting up on 4 generators at the beginning so that you can do, 3 gens
Yep.
efficiently before the killer gets his first down, or base camping a guy at 5 gens with 4 gen blocking perks or whatever. It's all just to like lock it down so that it's completely in your control the entire time. And
Yep.
yeah, it's not fun.
I've had a stream and I didn't really say anything at the time. It was like a couple of weeks ago. Some people noticed, a lot of people didn't. But I actually deliberately, this is the first time I'm admitting to this and saying this, I actually deliberately went hard on the first or second survivor that I'd find in a match.
Mm,
And the reason being, and I made it fairly not noticeable, but I just wanted to test a couple of days if I just take out somebody and just play
mhm.
brutally, like you're saying, what is it, devastation mode? If I
Yeah.
just do that, how's the game going to pan out for me? And most of those games were 4Ks, 3Ks, or whatever. But I'd
Mhm.
find I'd take out the first guy and I'd chill out. I would just like
Yeah.
sort of just go, yeah, walk around over here, walk over there,
Right.
sort of thing. But the fact that behaviors still are in this world of, well, if you do tunnel and camp, you are rewarded by winning because you are.
Yeah.
Most of the time, if you get someone out of the game by about 3 gens, 4 gens, it's GG, man. It's just, it
Yeah.
becomes a
You have so
completely
many
different game.
options.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I wish that was sort of. not there and we had a little bit more room to. I want to be incentivized to have a longer game, a more enjoyable longer
Hmm.
game, but it just doesn't
Right?
seem
Like
like.
you want to be able to see a survivor, and whether they're cocky or not, you want to be able to like entertain a chase with them, like,
Yeah,
okay, let's just do it and let's see how long it goes. But right now it's like, no, he's running towards Killer Shack, there's literally no point, I might as well go AFK, like there's no point in chasing him over there at this point of the game. So you
yeah,
have to like control the game, then you can entertain the chases. So
yeah,
no.
100%. Right, now I want some brutal Choy honesty. This next question, okay? We're going to go all in on this, and this one's going to take a while. How do you feel about DBD as a whole right now? Brutal honesty, direction, ideas. I'm going to throw some ideas, but first, what do you think?
I'd say definitely in trouble.
Right,
The,
okay.
the decisions they're making have like, you know, massive ripple effects that are going to go for the next, year or even beyond.
Yeah.
And you can't you can't continuously leave players with like a bad experience every time they're getting on the game,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So, uh and then when they go like, "Hey, every time I'm getting on the game, I'm having a bad experience," and then they tell you to go play like Civilization, it's not really
The
the
meme
best
that will
move.
not die.
Yeah. So, yeah, and it to me, like, if I'm just like putting myself in their position,
Hmm.
like I don't understand how things like face camping and tunneling and gen rushing are like still the main problems with
Yeah.
like DBD after so many years. It's like, you guys have like the entity, right? Like
Hmm.
it's literally the ultimate Deus Ex Machina to fix any problem in your game
Yeah.
without that much like, effort. And
Yeah.
I think the end game collapse is still like one of the only times they really use the entity to like fix a problem. It's usually just
Yeah.
like perks or something like that. So
Yeah.
um
100%. Um, Yeah, I mean, there was even talk about the early game collapse as well, which would have
mhm,
100% helped survivors, killers in that
yeah.
situation. It could have also given sort of room for survivors to come up with an attack plan as well. Sort of like, oh shit, okay,
Yeah.
we'll go touch this one. We won't 3 gen this one. We'll get 2 people on that side of the map. We'll creep there as as best we can or whatever. There would have been more room of mind games, I think, but like many things, especially with last year's anniversary, they've just scrapped ideas, man. They've scrapped ideas with no sort of real rhyme or reason, but for
Mhm,
whatever reason, it didn't pan out. I'm not making fun of them as developers as much
yeah.
because, obviously anything in any project, you're like, that works, that doesn't work, that's fair enough or whatever. I wanted to talk to you just in this question because I've got a few things, a couple of ideas I want to hear your opinions on.
Uh-huh.
The killers, man, for me, you mentioned that gen rushing and face camping and tunneling and whatever has been in the game forever. So is killers tier. Like there are just some killers that cannot play at top level, in my
Mhm.
opinion, properly compared to others. Now, the question is, I don't want everyone to be nurse level. That's not what I want because
Yeah.
I can go and get a 4K now for you blindfolded and I'll be fine with nurse.
Yeah.
That's no problem at all. Most people can, but if everything was drawn up to maybe like Demogorgon's level, Nemesis level, sort of that area, rather than just I don't know why D tier exists. What do you think about
Yeah.
this? It really bugs me, man, because it just makes our pool of gameplay limited.
Yeah, absolutely. And then another thing too is that like it feels like what they're doing with a lot of killers recently, whether it's like reworks and stuff, is it's like they create a killer that has like kind of like a decent amount of strength to it, and then they
Yeah.
rip parts of it off and turn them into add-ons, and then you kind of feel like these add-ons, like certain add-ons, feel like they make killers work.
Yep.
So it's like, yeah, like I can go play clown and I can put on like pinky finger, and
Yeah.
then it's like a whole different game that
Yeah.
usually ends with a lot of DCs really fast. But it's like you don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He's an S tier all of a sudden.
yeah, real fast.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's just
uh,
because like they've gone through these rework passes as well, and for me, I was actually a Trapper main for the longest time.
wow.
But his rework is basically, while improved, definitely
Hmm.
improved, it just seems like he's still at the bottom of the pool again.
Yeah.
Um,
The
Go on.
It definitely incentivizes a like a campy play style type of thing again, which is basically what happens with weed killers, right? Is that they're
Yeah.
the ones tunneling the most and stuff. So
Yeah, with Nurse, I'm hooking and I'm off, man. I'm off.
yeah,
I'm on the other side of the map already. Like,
right.
exactly correct. And just on that, what did you think about the Legion and Ghostface reworks?
Uh, the Legion rework so far, I feel like is one of the probably the better reworks they've done of a killer.
Yeah,
I know that like as Survivor, I think that I can understand it's a little annoying. But I think it's still
100%.
early. So, maybe instead of running dead hard, run sprint burst, counter
Mm.
the feral frenzy a bit more and stuff like that. But Ghostface, on the other hand, apart from whatever that like music is that he has, which I think they already said they're changing it now because it was
Oh god, dude, the washing
a
machine.
bit too. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
really like I actually thought it was a bug in the PTB. I was like,
I
oh
said
wow,
that.
this
I said
music
the
is
same
bugged.
thing. I said the same
Really?
thing. Yeah.
I guess not.
Yeah, I thought
But
it was caught in a loop, like that one little bit
yeah,
that keeps going around. I was like, I think it's just caught in a loop, guys. Right. Changing game mechanics, man. I think DVDs. It's high time that this game gets a little bit of a shake up with things. As you've said,
absolutely.
they have something like the entity that can change things up. They have done in the past.
Hmm.
What do you have any ideas about any additional game mechanics you could have for either role?
I mean, I would just say like something rewarding. I don't know what exactly it could
Mm,
be, but just something that makes you go like, oh, not like I'm annoyed that I have to do this
hmm
thing. Like, how could they add another boring thing for me to have to do? But like something that makes you like either get rewarded directly with like blood points or
Yep.
rewarded through gameplay.
Yep. And a lot of that, it's funny that you mentioned that because you said earlier that they've changed add ons at times to be part of the killer's kit where they're blood
Mhm.
point add ons, which I think is a massive cop out as well.
Yeah.
Like they're just changing something that's a good idea and putting it as an add on. I don't always think such a band aid fix is the best way, but
Right.
in terms of objectives, I wanted to quickly just say something. A lot of survivors I do come across are all chasers. And what I mean by that is they want to do the chase and none of them are
Hmm.
interested in doing the gens. And while that can be a successful game for a killer because, no one's doing gens, everyone wants to do a good chase,
Yeah.
I really feel more objectives for survivors, maybe even some lesser ones for killers should be in the game. What do you think?
No, 100% agree. The the game right now, it's had pretty much been the same objective wise, right, from the very
Yep,
beginning.
do
I don't think
gens.
that,
Yep.
yeah, not much has really changed in that loop. So they they definitely should try out some other things. I know Overwatch had a thing they did that was on console and PC where they would just have a test thing and they would just test things out
Yep.
randomly every month to see what people thought of them. So there was no commitment. It wasn't like, oh, you ruined the game. It was just go test this thing, tell us what you think about it. I think that they could just maybe start with something simple like that and get some feedback.
That's kind of cool. That's like that little beta tab that they brought in with the options in DVD with the wiggle,
Yeah,
the wiggle thing. That would be really cool if they haven't added anything to that since, have they?
they have not.
Oh, right.
So
Okay.
hopefully anniversary of it.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout though. They could chuck in like new objectives in there, and you could take part at your own volition.
Yeah.
That's a cool idea. But man, I understand that survivors don't want to do gens because it's just such a
Hmm.
monotonous, boring part. And I've always said that while Friday the 13th did a lot wrong, I think they did a lot right as well in a lot of regards.
Yeah.
Finding parts, building things, second chances as well. Like, I just think they need to add more into it. And I just think doing gens is just for 6 years now, doing effing gens is
Yeah.
just, it's quite enough. Um,
um,
this one's important. I'm interested if you have any ideas on this, but what about an additional game mode?
I'd be all for it. And then the first thing that comes to my mind is probably like, something like two killers versus like
Yeah.
six survivors or something like that.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, there's endless ideas that they could do with DVD with new game modes.
Yeah, I even said for a while, I'm not sure if you've heard of this, but like just for now, like have the custom area in DBD be able to do these sorts of things, no
Hmm.
matter how crazy they are. So like because you're not getting blood points for it or anything like that, you're just doing it
Yeah,
maybe playing with some friends or whatever. I think they could definitely trial putting some different modes in there or different things that you can change around, like statistics
yeah.
that you could really play around with. Get two killers in there because I think that would be really awesome.
Yeah, and it would make their tournaments like, way better too, because
Yeah.
their tournaments are, as you can see,
Top tier.
sometimes yeah, messy because they can't alter any of the rules. So it's would be something that could, greatly benefit them.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but I 100% watched the complete Japanese tournament when it was on last year. To
Mm.
me, that was just comedy gold. That was just the funniest thing I've seen in a while. The where casual but serious gaming Japanese tournament. I thought that was hilarious. Did you watch it at all?
I watched one match and I remember it was an Oni on Larry's. And it was like a 35-minute match. These guys
Yeah.
couldn't find Ruin. And I was like, dude, this match has been on for like 35 minutes. How have they not found Ruin yet? And
Yeah.
then I stopped there, but it was
Yeah.
pretty
I
funny.
know which match you're talking about too. Yeah, that is all of our matches, by the way. 35 minutes long. That is exactly what we feel every single time we play DVD. Pro level. Um,
Yeah.
keeping it going. Perk changes, man. Again, when I was just talking about the killer tiers and how there's just some killers you just go, I don't know if I can be bothered doing it this match.
Hmm.
There is still perks that are just absolutely useless at the bottom of the pool. How do you
Yep.
feel about this? What would you change around? Do you think maybe combining perks or doing things like that? What are your thoughts and opinions on the perk pool?
I mean, I'd like to just see more changes in general. Like, I don't know why there's such a like kind of like a stigma. Like, it's like this huge choice to change a perk. Like, I think that,
Yeah, yeah.
we could just like kind of like just like mess with them every now and again, and then Dead Hard, people have been, shouting out the rooftops about it
Mm,
for however long. And I saw a lot of people speculating that, in the anniversary event, they were going to announce a nerf of Dead Hard with the
yeah,
borrowed time base
yeah,
kit coming.
yeah,
And I saw the new perk that they added to the killer, and I'm like, oh, there's their band-aid fix for Dead Hard right there.
yeah, yeah. Which one was that? Sorry.
It's I don't remember the exact name, but basically it's that if a survivor's injured and they start healing, they get exhausted. And
Yeah, that's it.
it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, I'm like, oh, so there you go. You want to hit people and then leave them and then come back while they're trying to heal, and then you know,
Yeah,
then you have your dead hard
yeah.
counter, which
I actually didn't make that connection. That's interesting. Yeah, that is the band aid fix. 100%. You've nailed
yeah,
it.
I believe so.
Yeah, I just think there's just, I mean, man, there's no denying that they've done their work and the game's massive, but that perk
Hmm.
pool, that could be half the size than what it is. I mean, again, going back to your video on the tournament, where there was no search bar or anything like
Yeah,
that, they were just going through random pictures that they have no idea what the whole entire list is.
yeah, doing their ABCs, trying to figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah,
Right?
exactly. And people in my stream also have mentioned that they're just like, a new player coming to this, what the hell are they supposed to do? They're not going to read
Yeah,
all that information before they load up a match.
exactly. It's and I swear, I mean, I could be crazy, but I feel like 2 years ago or something in a dev stream, they said that they were like adding that, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it just like never
Yeah, no,
happened.
they did. Yeah, yeah, they added the
Yeah,
numbers. That's what they've done.
the
That was
numbers. Oh, okay.
that's as far as that went. But a search bar would be. It's as Shroud said in your video. He's like, "What the hell? It's in every game.
Yeah.
It's in every game, stock standard."
Yep.
But anyway, that's enough about perks. And the last thing I want to talk about under this umbrella is grind. The grind, I think
Mhm.
everyone's feeling it. A big rumor about the year 5 is the grind is going to be addressed. Do you have any ideas of what you'd like to see with the grind?
It's a bit of a complicated one, like because it wouldn't be if they just got rid of perk tiers, but they were like, no, we
Yep.
have this like grand scheme thing coming up, and I'm like, well, okay, what else is there? So, and that kind of again led into that, DVD should be a heist game thing was all just that sort of
Yep. Yep.
going into it. Is like maybe that's it. They're just gonna give you like insane amounts of blood points or something, but
Mm.
Yeah, I'm not sure honestly.
What?
The removing the perk tier seems like the way to go.
It seems the most logical for everyone. Why is it so hard to do that? It would just simplify so much more of the grind, especially for new players, man.
Yeah, because I feel like the only alternative really to that is just making it to where when you unlock a teachable, it's just done and every character you have has it. But that's like that's almost too much of a grind reduction because then
Yeah,
like
yeah,
yeah,
that
so
that
I
would
don't
be
know.
massive actually. But yeah, apparently they have a system with this, and apparently it's like better than what we've come up with. And it just goes back to do you remember the last year on the anniversary they said that there was a whole Mori system coming in with
Oh
the
yeah.
hatch and how like you can take part in that sort of journey of the match, and then what we got was just nerf hatch and nerf Mori.
Yeah, that's about it, right? So maybe the blood point grind fix will be done with like a perk,
Yeah,
like get like 10,000 extra blood points per match. There
yeah.
you go.
I mean that's
Make it
not
a
a bad
hex.
shout to be fair. I mean, come on, like just
Yeah,
chuck in more
true.
blood points if not anything else right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really hope they commit to the anniversary, and I really hope that we get some good information because I think we really need it, man. I think one of the biggest things for me right now is just the grind, and new players are copping it worse than me. I know that, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
moving along, lifespan of DBD. What do you think? How many more years do you honestly think are in the tank? DBD Leaks announced that they have 3 new chapters that they can leak, which they haven't chosen to. However,
Mhm.
2 of them are licensed, which is interesting.
Wow.
And do you have any thoughts at all on DBD 2? Do you think it's something that they're working on in the background? If so, would you play it?
I mean, I would definitely play it. And I just saw Epic's they did a little thing about Unreal Engine 5
Yep.
and they talked about how they switched Fortnite from 4 to 5 and how
Yep.
they built the whole system in place so that you could do that. And I know it's not easy because the day before, which is a game I'm really looking forward to, just got delayed for like a year because they're switching it from Unreal 4 to 5.
Right.
But I do think it's something that they should really consider, especially with how their game is, coded and how it's so
Yeah.
these hackers can come in and just like do whatever they want. So I think it would be worth it for them to start doing that at least if they're not already doing it. Uh, and whether they want to call that Dead by Daylight 2 or not, I guess is whatever. But
Mm.
yeah, and I don't want to be too dramatic. DBD is one of the best like selling games of all time now. It's
Yep.
very unique. Like there's literally like nothing else like it that wasn't just something that tried to copy it.
Yep.
And it will still be around for years.
Yep.
But there are definitely like warning signs now that it
Yeah.
might fall from grace because it really is like the king. And if you look at the Steam charts and stuff from over like the past year,
Yeah.
it's definitely very concerning. And if those charts were like from this year with like, all these games coming out like Evil Dead and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, I would have been like, okay, that makes sense. But this is like happening before those games even
Yeah.
come out.
Pre.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like, oof, like that's not good. And then Ringu, like it flopped like player wise. It just
Yeah.
didn't bring in the players. So I think if you want like an indicator of like maybe like when DVD really is starting to die, it's probably going to be the moment when they start to just drop licenses left and right, like because they
Yeah.
can't afford them anymore. They want to make their own games, and it's just like boom, 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 and then you're
Yep.
just yeah,
Because every
and
single
then
time you do a license, you grab a portion of a new audience,
yeah,
which is really important to remember. And damn, man, you're totally right about Ringu. That didn't see anything move.
mhm,
That was not a needle mover at all. Um,
yeah,
and they haven't really followed up with it at all. It seems like that's the way she's going to be now, and then that's that,
yeah.
and we just move on. But yeah, man, DBD is definitely in my top 10 games of all time. I can
Oh,
easily say that.
absolutely.
Anyone who thinks differently and they have over 5,000 hours, I suggest you look at yourself because, like, it's a game that we certainly whinge about, but it's like you said, there's been nothing like it before this.
Hmm.
This is the original gangster, so to speak, of this genre.
Yeah,
And I've tried to explain it to people as well, but the original can get complacent, and sort of happy in its rut. So this anniversary, we need to see some of those things changed, in my opinion.
yeah, and the devs, I think they need to maybe take like a more transparent approach. Like I feel like they're very kind of like hush hush about maybe too many things.
Yeah, very.
And I remember even when I made like the hacker video, or after I made the first hacker video that blew up, they they still didn't say anything for like months, right?
Mhm.
And I remember like this is so weird. And then like Turjay, which I know you had him on
Oh
before,
yeah, love
he
Jay.
was getting like harassed, and I'm like, okay, like
That was
this
awful.
is yeah. I was like, this is like dumb already. So I made a video, and I tried to kind of like piss him off a little bit on
Yeah,
purpose. I named the video like Dead by Daylight's infested with hackers and behavior just doesn't care, or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, that's surely gonna get like some kind of reaction. And then that dev Q&A happened, and one of the top voted questions was like, are you gonna like address the like hacker situation or talk about it?
Yeah.
And I remember like Patrick was like, he kind of pulled a straw man. He was like,
Mm.
oh yeah, of course we're doing things about it. We just don't say exactly what we're doing because we don't want the hackers to know what we're doing, which is like, yeah, obviously, but I don't
Yeah.
feel like anyone asked you specifically what you're doing. We kind of just wanted you to acknowledge it existed, and then
Yeah.
yeah, I was a bit unhappy with that answer,
It might
but
be a little bit too much like hockey, though. Maybe that's why he didn't.
yeah, that could be the problem. Luckily,
No,
neither of us have Twitch shirts, so we should be okay.
yeah. You're right, though. There's sort of, to me, man, I don't like, you know, it's one thing to complain about the company. It's hard to when you're addressing somebody because it's,
Hmm.
but there
Yeah,
seems to be a bit of ego there sometimes, or maybe sort of
yeah,
like they're very aware of themselves. They know that there's problems. They know that there's issues there. They're not idiots,
yeah.
but they're just sort of like, I don't really feel like answering that. I'm just gonna palm it off,
It's
sort of a thing.
Yeah, it's very weird. And then even the Hackerbot video that we talked about earlier,
Hmm.
like right after I uploaded the video, I started getting like DMs of people saying, "Hey, I shared your video on, the Reddit or the DVD forums, and I got banned." And they were sending me these messages from like Mandy Talks, and she was
Yeah.
telling them
Oh
that
God.
you can't share this video because in the video, Choi's advertising the hacks, and we can't have that. And I'm like, wait, I'm advertising the hack? So like I'm going through the video trying to figure out like what did I do? Like how
Yeah.
am I doing it? And like I'm like, I don't see that I share or show any way to get these hacks in the video. So I asked the people to, message her back and ask like, well, what's going on? And then she said, yeah, well, you can see the people that the bot's playing against, and then they could message those people that the bot played against,
Oh,
and
give me
then
a
through those
break.
people, I'm like what?
Give
Like
me a
how are
break,
you
Mandy.
right?
Ah.
Oh, like, this is like already like getting into like gaslighting
Yeah,
territory with the
exactly. You should.
um
Yeah, you should have just said, "All right, I'm going to re-upload the video with with the blurred out chat." Is that going to make much of a
yeah,
difference? I bet you it would have been the same answer. It would have just been like, no, that doesn't
totally.
fit our narrative or whatever." Just it's
Yeah,
not advertising; it's getting the message out there that we're in a lot of trouble. I mean,
absolutely.
also the fact that someone's been swatted as well, man. One of their very own fog
Yeah,
whisperers
true.
has been swatted at their own home, and we never
Yeah.
heard any update on that. It was just, oh well, that's something that happens. That
Yeah, the
it's
hackers gave me an update, which is that if anyone even, you know, brings something up like that in their Discord or anything like
yeah,
that, they immediately ban them. They don't want anything to do with it.
yeah,
So they at least do have a line, which is
yeah.
nice.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
um,
uh,
but yeah, it's not promoting things, man. It's getting the message out there for the fans
mhm,
and people want to play the game safely is probably one of
right.
the things. I mean, for about a week or two when that SWAT happened, I actually put my VPN on while I was playing DVD, and
Yeah.
it was a bit shit. I'm not gonna lie, like it's just because I was
Mhm.
rubber banding all over the place, but
Yeah.
it seemed to affect me more than the survivors, which is probably good. But yeah, just because I freak out about that stuff. What the hell? I got a kid. I don't want my door knocked
Yeah,
down.
definitely. There's so many crazy stories about swatting and things like that, especially if you have kids or pets. Yeah, it can be
Yeah,
terrible.
100%. But yeah, it's transparency. They've said they've always been it's been a key feature of their company, and yeah, I will definitely say that it just hasn't felt transparent for maybe 3 years. Man, the first
Mhm.
year or two, they were actually pretty good. Like they were actually pretty
Yeah,
bang on it. Um,
that's good.
but yeah, what an idea I had. I'll just run it by you. Was I think because you've got these perfectly good, able-bodied people who play Dead by Daylight, they call them fog whisperers. Why don't you use them to a more of a capacity where you do a live stream, right? So the devs do a live stream, have like 6 or 10 of them on a panel, and they literally ask some questions from the community and get honest feedback from them live on the spot. So no editing, none of that. It's just live on the spot, thoughts and opinions, honesty. Keep it positive, obviously, because that's what you have to do. But say it in a way that's just, 100%. What would you think about that? Like, I just think we should be using them more.
Absolutely. I think it'd be a great idea. I mean, Ots is always like in there doing all kinds of crazy number crunching and data gathering. And I did one of his experiments there where you go AFK for like 30 seconds and don't use any perks or add-ons. And and that goes to your point. Like, I just tunneled and camped afterwards and it won most games anyway. So it I think it would be really helpful. And I don't know if many people remember Monto because he hasn't been around for a while.
I used to love his DVD content.
Yeah, I love Monto as well. And he came back for like one stream, I think, like after Pinhead came out.
Right.
He did like a special stream, and I put it in the SBMM video, and he was like, man, why don't the devs listen to Ots? Like I feel like he's like really just like, such a like unbiased person, and they seem to just ignore him so much. It's kind of crazy.
Why did Monto stop? I actually don't know the full story on that.
Well, he stopped because he wasn't enjoying DBD anymore. Basically, SBMM came out and every match was a sweat fest, and he couldn't do his like type of builds that he liked to do anymore, which are like fun builds. And then in that stream, I could have put every match he played in that stream in a montage. It was literally like Monto tries one of his fun old builds like body blocker hag or whatever, and he just gets demolished by these sweat squads over and over again. And it's just like, he's like, this just isn't fun. Like, I would rather play anything else. Like, so I was like, it was pretty sad to watch, but definitely understood where he was coming from.
I'm gonna have to watch him again. I hope he's still going in other games because his personality is what I watched him for. He was so funny.
Yeah.
All right, away from DBD now. Career aspirations with content creation. How far do you want to take this ride, and do you have any ideas moving forward?
I mean, I definitely want to get way more into streaming. I do enjoy it, and I don't do it too often, like maybe like once a week.
Yeah.
And then it would be nice if I could get into streaming, but then also work with maybe like editors and stuff down the road to kind of like help create these videos. And that would kind of be like the goal, because I want to create time for myself outside of, doing this, because like, I haven't talked to my friends in like a month sometimes goes by, and I'm like, oh, like, all right, I'm definitely maybe overdoing it a bit. So that's definitely the future goal. Create that, and then just have this well-crafted machine going that I can really enjoy everything I'm doing.
Yeah, 100%, man. So yeah, like getting together with editors and stuff like that as well. Sometimes even teaming up with other people. Man, I wouldn't mind having a game with you somewhere down the line. That'd be pretty cool.
Yep.
Or creating some content. I mean, there's always Ark 2 coming, whenever the hell that's coming.
Someday.
But that's a day one purchase for me personally.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, guys, you need to check out Choy if you haven't already. He's seen some really good success on his YouTube channel. He does have a Twitter as well. Again, check out the links in the description and in the cards that we'll show throughout the stream. Choy, did you have anything else you want to add to this, mate?
No, I'd say that's about it.
Well, I really appreciate having you on finally. Thank you so much for agreeing to do it, and I hope you have an awesome day.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for having me on. That was a lot of fun, and like I said before, luckily neither of us have Twitch shirts, so there shouldn't be anything to worry about.
Yeah, exactly. All right, dude. Thank you so much.
Yep.